Šehidi, hej miljenici, gdje ste vi? Šehidi, hej miljenici, gdje ste
Witnesses of the truth. Bosnia and Herzegovina is a beautiful country that lies in the southeast of the European continent, a country that has been over 1,000 years a living witness to European people what coexistence and multiculturalism mean. Unfortunately, to protect its own integrity and dignity, Bosnia had to defend its heritage throughout constant defensive wars. In the recent, one may say, the most terrible aggression that fell upon Bosnia and Herzegovina in the period from 1992 up to 1995, his cruel fight took place for the survival of the country and its population. The gravest form of crime against humanity, genocide over Bosniak people, was followed by the aggressive war. For the first time in the history of this country, high officers of Serbian formations were indicated for genocide under the patronage of the international judicial institutions located in Den Haag. At the beginning of the 21st century, all larger cities of BH were besieged without electricity, gas, water, and under constant sniper and cannon shots, had nevertheless survived. The burial of great number of victims, civilians as well as defenders, need to be taken care of apart unprecedented conditions. Around 10,000 killed citizens and defenders. Burials happened in the urban part of Sarajevo. Burial of the victim were at 3 city locations, stadiums, parks, and harems of old Sarajevo mosques, and of course in the marginal areas of the city where the some of the deciding battles for Sarajevo were led. The families of the killed soldiers, those who were of Bosnian nationality, called their loved ones Shehids, which was consequently accepted as the official title for a killed member of the Army or Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is understandable and completely justified, as the etymological meaning of Shehid is the witness of the truth. A Shehid is a person who, in the name of truth, justice and good, gave his life to defend his family, property, dignity and faith. If there were no witnesses of the truth, we would cease to exist and would not be what we are for hundreds of years. The aim of the aggression and the genocide was the destruction of the Bosniak people and its cultural and historical identity. The resistance to this was the fight for pure faith in good, embodied in every civilized and cultural Bosnian. All who were on that path and gave their lives for that purpose were truly Shehids. In 1997, the representatives of the Parliament Sarajevo Canton, led by the idea not to forget or repeat evil, established the Fund of Sarajevo Canton. This fund is for the protection and conservation of the graves of Shehids and fallen soldiers, but this fund changed its name in 2006 to the Fund for the Building and Preservation of Memorial Centers and Monuments for Victims of Genocide. The main activity of this fund is erecting niches and tombstones for Shehids and fallen soldiers during the aggression on Bosnia and Herzegovina, as well as the building, protection and maintenance of the graves for the Shehids and fallen soldiers as the foundation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and of course monuments for victims of genocide of 1992-95. Unfortunately, after the Dayton Peace Agreement, which provided desired and necessary peace, there was no political consensus at the state level to form this kind of fund. This was to be expected, as the Dayton Peace Agreement did bring peace, but unfortunately did not bring justice and the rightnesses to BH, for which more sacrifice and fighting will be needed for quite some time. Our fallen soldiers and Shehids were buried in several hundreds of different locations in BH, and only in the Canton Sarajevo area there are more than 5,000 buried in 140 different locations. As the only institution of this kind, the fund built cemeteries outside of Canton Sarajevo, meaning on the entire territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina. In all areas, people defended Bosnia equally with a clear idea to fight for the survival of a unique country and its people, and that's why it was important to create a unique tombstone for all killed. According to a specially chosen council, the best solution for the tombstone mark for Shehids and fallen soldiers in the war of 1992-95 was a combination of the Shehid's nation and stage act from the 15th century that in the best way combines the Bosnian medieval and early Islamic tradition. The old Shehid's nation, a stele of square cross-section and pyramidal ending and half ball at the top, symbolized with its simplicity the strength and force of the soldier of the BH Army, and with its clean geometric shape satisfied traditional and modern aesthetic criteria. With all the aforementioned characteristic elements, they formed and adapted a unique solution for the tombstone mark for Shehids and fallen soldiers of the BH Army and the Ministry of Internal Affairs BH. This was for all except for fallen soldiers of another confession, where the ayah from the Quran and Al-Fatiha is omit and the symbol of their fight placed instead. The lily is compulsory for all, the symbol from the flag and crest on BH, first raised on the East River in front of the UN building. Apart from the unified nation, it was also adopted the concept solution for the standard gate and fence placed around the cemetery where the defenders of our homeland lie. The activities of the fund do not only include building, but also maintenance of the graves and cemeteries. During 2003, the fund directed the first 100 veteranations for the organizers of resistance, veterans and decorated soldiers. This is the first time that we approach to the solution of this issue in an organized and unique manner. All activities of the fund were possible thanks to the funds provided before all by the Sarajevo Canton, as well as several municipalities, the city of Sarajevo and the Federation of BH. We have also to mention many donors, individuals, small and big enterprises, to whom the fund is especially grateful. One of the segments in the work of the fund is the memorial of the heroes of Defend of BH, and in that sense, the fund continues conducting activities by organizing regular visits to the graves and traditional events such as Khatmadova for the Shehids and fallen soldiers. The planning and construction of memorial complexes that apart from the graves include memorial rooms, multimedia centers, museums, fountains and other contents of educational character represent a special segment in the work of the fund. The largest cemetery in BH is the Shehid Cemetery Kovači, where the first memorial is built for the defenders of Bosnia and Herzegovina in the Defensive Liberation War from 1992-95, the authors of which are architects Aida Dajlić and Namik Muftić. From all parts of BH as well as from abroad, around 1487 of fallen defenders lie buried in the Kovači Cemetery. The Memorial Center Kovači is a story of the heroes of BH that defended universal human principles, equality, justice and freedom, what they most valued and for what they gave their lives. It is not only by chance that for the Memorial Center, people selected Cemetery Kovači as one of the oldest cemeteries in Sarajevo. It was created in 15th century, namely in the first decades of the Ottoman rule in this region. Some of the old nations that resisted time through 5 centuries denote an archaic form of simple craft without turbans or epitaphs. Kovači has been the greatest necropolis in the center of old Sarajevo, intersected by roads that went down to the Baščašija itself. And up to this day, over 200 nišans preserved with epitaphs, while previously there were 400. The Parliament adopted and verified the regulation plan of the Memorial Center Kovači was approximately 20 million km is needed for the construction of the Memorial Center, and because of this, the construction is planned in phases. Several phases are realized with the support of Canton Sarajevo, a large number of municipalities, the city of Sarajevo and the Federation of BH. Of course, we do not wish to neglect the support of private companies and the citizens themselves. The first phase of the construction included setting up nishans, tombstones for all Shehids, the reconstruction of paths, stairs, fountains and plateaus. The next phase of construction entails the building of a well in the shape of a crescent, and a brook flowing down the cemetery. Water, as a symbol of life, constantly reminds us of pureness and the return to the other, eternal world. As a special phase, we emphasize the building of a turban over the grave of the first president of the presidency of sovereign and independent Bosnia and Herzegovina, the late Alija Izetbegović. Respecting his wish and keeping in mind that the President Izetbegović was also the chief commanding officer of the glorious and proud Army of the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina in the most difficult days of defending the state, he was buried among his soldiers in Kovači. In donation to build a turbet apart from domestic institutions, participate also truly Friends of Bosnia, the city of Istanbul and the Republic of Turkey. In the following period, it is planned the construction of a memorial room for President Izetbegović on the locality where it was initially planned to build a masjid within the framework of the memorial center. Within the framework of the memorial center in Kovači, it is necessary to resolve the legal and property issues of all buildings and houses in the Širokac Street, whereby the memorial center will acquire the appearance of a landscape type of garden architecture. This phase started with the buying of one house, the present location of the fund. After the resolution of property and legal issues, the next phase will follow, and that is closing up the exciting Širokac Street and building a Šehid Street with a memory wall. The Šehid Street makes up the framework of the memorial center, and it is intended for official ceremonials, paying respects to distinguished officials and laying flowers and accepting organized group visits. This street would serve as the city pedestrian street and the route between Baščarši and Vratnik, which will emphasize the open character of the building complex and its place in everyday life. The project will include the location Jekovac, as the desire of the author for this complex is to have a stimulating effect on the spiritual life of the visitors. The building of a tekia and gallery is foreseen, sublimated is one building. With the Jekovac locality joined to Memorial Center Kovači, the present traffic infrastructure would be resolved. We also note as a special phase the beginning of the building of the first museum dedicated to the genocide in the aggression on Bosnia-Herzegovina, which will be set in today's symbols of the city of Sarajevo, the entrance gates, towers of Širokac and Ploče. At the same time, an old Sarajevo ramparts that connect the towers will be reconstructed, which will be used as an area for setting up exhibitions and documents that bear witness to the genocide and aggression on BH. This phase is in realization with the coordination with the Bureau for the Protection of Cultural and Historical Monuments, the Museum of the City of Sarajevo, the Historical Museum of BH, and the Institute for the Research and Crimes Against Humanity and International Law. Apart from the completed reconstruction of the Yellow Tabia and its merging with the Memorial Center, in the following period the building of an amphitheater in a landscape shape is planned with an open stage for cultural events, which in accordance with the purpose of the complex. The already excavated terrain of a shell of the stadium offers the possibility of the natural merging of the new amphitheater and its additional buildings with the exciting configuration of the field. After the completion of construction, the final touches of the landscape, the grass, planting of trees and arranging the horticulture will follow. Cemetery Kovači is a concept of grandeur, whose value will also reflect in its open concept, its availability and belonging to the city, which allows a constant presence in the lives of Sarajevo people and all those who visit it. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, the graves of the Shehids and fallen soldiers are warning at every step. Every visit to them is an encounter with the witnesses of the truth. By neglecting their internal resting place and not caring for their families, we bury the foundations of our own existence, and therefore the building, construction and maintenance of the Mezaristan for the Shehids and fallen soldiers is our first obligation and debt to the greatest sons of Bosnia and Herzegovina.